And tonight, the suspected Apalachee school shooter and his father are both behind bars without bond. 14-year-old Collin Gray is facing 4 felony murder charges. He's accused of killing 2 students and 2 teachers Wednesday morning. Collin Gray's attorney says they were not asking for bond. Because Colt is a minor, the maximum penalty he'll face is life without parole. Meanwhile, his father, Collin Gray, faces several charges, including involuntary manslaughter. The GBI says he knowingly allowed his son to have a weapon. Collin's attorneys did not request bond. The judge said if they added all his charges together, he could face nearly 180 years in prison.
Parents should really watch what their kids are posting on social media and remove any weapons in the house if they feel their student or their child is facing some type of mental health crisis.
A warning from Sheriff Freeman as the Apalachee shooting could set a new precedent for punishing parents of mass shooters in Georgia. Carmen Brown spoke to a criminal attorney to explain the charges before Collin Gray's father and how the prosecution and defense might develop their arguments.
Collin Gray facing a total of 14 charges, including 2 counts of second-degree murder. Barrow County DA Brad Smith announced in Friday's hearing there could be more.
Second-degree murder is often based on whether or not someone, during the commission of the cruelty to children in the second degree, causes the death of another, and it doesn't matter whether or not somebody meant to do that or anything like that.
But how can authorities charge Collin Gray if he didn't pull the trigger? Travis Griffin explains it as transferred intent. For example, if someone helps commit a robbery that results in a homicide, the co-conspirator could be charged with murder, even if they didn't pull the trigger.
It's essentially the same transferred intent situation that's happening in a second-degree murder charge, where they're saying, well, you did commit cruelty to children, and now someone's dead. And so we transfer that intent to the death.
Griffin says prosecutors might build a case like the one that put the parents of Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley's behind bars.
Part of law is what's called foreseeability, whether or not somebody has culpability because it's foreseeable that some bad thing could have happened.
He says defense might counter by focusing sole accountability on Collin Gray.
And we saw it in Michigan as well. Essentially the argument is that, you can't hold parents accountable for the actions of somebody else, even if it is their child.
Griffin says if Collin Gray is convicted, this could create ramifications in Georgia for parents setting boundaries with their kids regarding firearms. In Macon, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
Griffin says he thinks the prosecuting attorneys will soon go before the Barrow County grand jury with evidence against the Grays and seek an indictment once the investigation wraps up.